today we want to concentrate on friendship and the importance of friendship in leadership. I'd like you to understand that it's very easy for a leader to fail to have friends. In fact, they normally say that it is lonely at the top. What they mean is that leaders have nobody who can share their leadership concerns with. But I normally assume that is the wrong type of friendship, of leadership. If you know servant leadership, which Jesus taught, you'll be relating with the people who are juniors. And if you're relating well with them, you'll never lack somebody to share your burden with. And if you can't share with friendship also with your juniors, there are also people outside the organization who can also be your friends. We are told, if you have ever read the biography of William Wilberforce, who is the one who is credited to have abolished slave trade worldwide, because the superpower then was Britain. And once you change there, they change the whole world. I want to tell you that the reason he was able to push an impossible motion in parliament, because nobody wanted the abolition of our slave trade, it was because Sunday afternoons he would call his friends together. They were called a sect. I don't know why the group was called a sect, but they would come together. Then they would have researched the issues they were dealing with, and then they would give the research to these parliamentarians. But in addition to that, they will pray with him. They will encourage him. He will share his frustrations with them. That way, he would move the motion in parliament. It fails, moves again, it fails. Before he died, the motion was finally passed. My friend, you need to understand, if you are choosing to be a leader, friendship, both of your juniors and also of mentors and colleagues outside your organization, outside your country, is something that you must invest in and invest heavily. Unfortunately, friendship is not easy at all. And I've written a book on friendship. Next time you are near the Scripture Union bookshop, pick the book, Friendship by John Nganga. And I say, friendship is not easy at all. Let me give you 3 reasons why, although it is important for a leader to have friendship, there are 3 problems with it. Number 1, it is voluntary. You cannot force anybody to be your friend. It is hard work to actually be friends. And of course, the most important way of gaining friends is for you to be friendly yourself. Not bossy, not prideful, but simply talk to people at their level. Be friendly to them. But because it's not automatic, it means that you can even be friendly, but the people don't respond in friendship. And therefore, that makes it very hard work. And you know, in the tilt of relationship, you that is trying to be friendly does not have as much power as the guy you are trying to befriend, because it's him who will choose whether to be friends with you or not. And that makes the leader having friends a very difficult thing. It's not automatic. Number 2, it's not permanent. The fact that we were friends last year does not mean the friendship may not have grown cold. And those same people that were friends last year are not your friends anymore. You are still in the organization, you are still their leader, but they don't want to meet you, they don't want to have tea with you. And that makes it very difficult. The fact that it's not permanent. After doing all that work, it means you have to work at it continuously. You don't say, now I have a friend. No, you have to maintain that friendship over time. And I think that's very, very, very important. Thirdly, when you are a leader, there are 2 things likely to happen. You make decisions that displease some people, and you must make a decision because that's why you are a leader. You make the decision, and even people who are your friends may actually leave you. because they are not comfortable with the decision. You cannot make good decisions. One of the things you must avoid, even in this effort to be friends with your subordinates, you must avoid wanting friendship at any cost. So even if your friends will be unhappy, make a decision that is good for the group. Not good to you, not good for your friend, but good to the total group. And in that case, you'll find it difficult to keep friends who don't agree with your decision. That's one of the challenges you have. How do you make decisions and it's not possible to make decisions that everybody accepts. Number two, related with that, when you are a boss and maybe you are the one dishing out goodies, promotions and things like that, people will pretend to want your friendship. In fact, they'll look very excited, but they are not friends at all. Some time back, I think after 2017, one of the professors in Nairobi University was then a cabinet minister. And he wrote in the newspaper, because there's a column he was writing, he wrote in the newspaper that the day he was removed from being a cabinet minister, a CS, his telephones, and he had several, all of them went quiet. And he wondered, why is nobody calling? That's when he discovered people were not really his friends. They were friends with his office. And as soon as he lost the office, they didn't care about him. And that's what makes friendship for leaders very difficult, because you don't know whether this person is trying to get something out of you rather than really concerned about one another. And we'll be looking at that in a minute. So it's very difficult to know how to balance and discover whether the friends are really true friends and that they are not just respecting you for your post. It is that they have concern about you. And that makes it something that you have to actually deal with and handle. Let us take lessons on friendship from King David. First of all, what kind of friends did David have? David had friends from every direction. The group of people who came to be with him when he ran away from Saul, the Bible says they were the scum of the earth. Everybody who was thought to be nothing came and joined David. And David did not refuse them. He accepted them and they became part of his trip. David welcomed everybody to be his friends. But then you have Jonathan, who is a prince and potential heir to the throne. And he accepted him in friendship. David did not suffer from inferiority or superiority. If you suffer from either of the two, it will be difficult to make friends. Inferiority makes you fear talking to people, fear relating with the people whom you think are senior to you. And that inferiority complex will make it difficult for you to be friends with just anybody. Superiority complex is worse. It makes you look down on people, and people sense that you are looking down on them, and so they don't accept your friendship. David was able to tackle both. However, David was also good at ensuring that he wasn't really lost with the idea of a kitchen cabinet. What a kitchen cabinet? It's where you have a structure of leadership, but then your friends are the ones who are running the show. People call it deep state. Deep state are people who haven't been appointed to make decisions, but they are the ones who make decisions in the background. Maybe because they are the king makers. They are not kings themselves. They're the king makers. That's why we call them deep state. And they can control events in a major way, and yet they have no titles. Any leader who allows deep state to dictate is a weak leader. And David was not like that. So the idea of kitchen cabinet is where you may be, you have a cabinet, yes. But before decisions are made by the full cabinet, it's 2 or 3 people who take the show. By the time you come to the meeting, the president is issuing directions rather than allowing discussion, because they already had discussions in the kitchen cabinet. What that will do is that it will divide the cabinet, it will divide your team of leadership, and within no time that division could eat into the future of that organization. So, in this idea of friendship, you need to be aware of that possibility. The other thing you need to be aware of is wanting friendship too seriously, and I've talked about that. Friendship at any cost. It will make you make wrong decisions, not to hurt your friends. It will make you make decisions that will destroy your leadership, not to hurt your friends. You must have a secure mind, so secure that even if the friends were to drop you, you will still run. There is nothing you'll do to hurt them, but you'll not make a decision in order to please them. You are not going to do everything in order to win friendship. You know, some teachers, when they have a difficult boy, they make him a prefect in order to silence him. That's a dangerous game, because the boy you have made prefect may not even understand anything about leadership. And the whole group is going to suffer because of that method of trying to silence people by rewarding them. That is friendship at any cost. And that is something that is dangerous, and something that you must actually avoid. Look at 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 3. But David took an oath and said, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes." And he has said to himself, "Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved. Yes, as surely as the Lord lives and as you live, there is only one step between me and death." In other words, David is having fears, and he needs somebody to share his fears with, and he finds Jonathan. That's why you need friends as a leader. Somebody you know will be a confidant. What is a confidant? You share information with him that is very sensitive, knowing that he can never repeat that information to anybody. He is somebody who keeps confidentiality. Similarly, people will give ideas to you. Your friends will give ideas to you because they know the CEO cannot repeat the information publicly and embarrass us. This friend of yours, is he a confidant? You know, they say a problem shared is a problem halved or half solved. It's important that you understand one of the values of having friends as a leader is so that your burden can be shared, and so that you can also get emotional sharing, and that will be very, very. Look at verse 7. If he says, "Very well," then your servant is safe. But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I'm guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father? I said earlier in the introduction that friendship is not automatic, but fatherhood is. In other words, there's nothing that Jonathan can do. Even if he has such a rough father, he remains the father. But his friendship is a choice. And that's why he has chosen to be friends with somebody whom the king does not like. He has chosen friendship with David. And it's important to understand that when you gain friendship, you have somebody who will side with you. David is telling this guy if you really don't care about me, don't hand me to your father, kill me yourself. He is trying to test, is there real friendship with this person? And I think it will be also important to have levels. Do not make a new friend and you start pouring the beans. No. There must be a process. In both my book, Friendship, and another book I've written called Finding a Life Partner, I say there are levels of friendship. It begins with an acquaintance. An acquaintance is not a friend. Okay, we use this is my friend. But you don't mean that. You need time for the friendship to develop from acquaintance into a confidant. So don't start sharing information with friends you do not know very well. It is those testing of how reliable the person is, how loving the person is, that will help the friendship to progress. So a leader should not just share with anybody who is his friend. He must allow the fellowship to naturally grow to where there is trust. And you can take the risk of sharing information. Verse 9 says, "Never," Jonathan said, "if I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you?" David asked, "Who will tell me if your father answers you harshly?" In other words, Jonathan is protesting. How can you doubt my love for you? If I knew anything that could harm you, I would actually tell you. You know, what this one is telling us is that friendship demands transparency between the friends. You can't claim to be a friend and you don't share information. You are hiding information from me. Obviously, I must say as a leader, there will be information that only the board knows and you are not allowed to leak. And you should not leak it to your friends either. But, generally speaking, friendship involves transparency. You cannot be friends with an opaque person who doesn't share issues with. So as you are friends with people, you keep opening up as the friendship gets deeper. Verse 16. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, "May the Lord call David's enemies to account." And Jonathan had David reaffirm his oath out of love for him, because he loved him as he loved himself. You know, he's saying the enemies of your friends become your enemies. Jonathan is now saying, "May the Lord call David's enemies to account." David's enemies have become your enemies. And that's one of the values of having friends as a leader. Because anybody who is trying to have a coup d'etat, overthrow you, your friends that are real friends will not allow it to happen. They'll get you that information in time, because your enemies become your friends' enemies. A friend of a friend is a friend. An enemy of a friend is an enemy. That's what you need to understand. So it's important to know this friendship, and we saw that even before. It's a friendship will help you to get to a group that will watch your back. Verse 22. "But if I say to the boy, 'Look, the arrows are beyond you,' then you must go, because the Lord has sent you away." And that's something that's important. Friends have code language. In other words, if you are really friends, you have a way of talking that that other people may not understand. That's why young people can speak Sheng, and the parents are there, and the parents have no idea what they are saying. So over time, and that's why you need time with your friends. You develop a way of talking. A wife and a husband can actually talk in your presence, and you have no idea what they are saying, but they know what they are saying to each other. Similarly, as a leader, as you are getting these friends, you have a code of language. They understand. Like now, they are saying that once I discover whether my father wants to kill you or not, and I don't want to be seen with you, I'm going to do something which you understand. I'll tell the boy, "Go ahead." That means David is not safe. I will say, "No, the arrow is nearer. Come back." And then that means that David is safe. And that's a code language. And that friendship will develop an understanding that allows you to communicate with this code language. And I think that will be something important for you to know and do. Verse 23 says, "And about the matter you and I discussed, remember, the Lord is witness between you and me forever." I'm saying God is party to any strong friendship. In other words, the two of us, me and my friend, have discussed something. But I need to know that God is a witness to that discussion. If I change my mind to harm my friend, and he was taking a risk by being open, God will be on my case. God is a party to friendship. And you need to be aware of that anytime you are having friendship. You can't start misbehaving because your friend cannot discover. And that will be something very, very important. Look at verse 30. Saul's anger flared up at Jonathan, and he said to him, "You son of a perverse and rebellious woman, don't you know that you have sided with the son of Jesse to your own shame and to the shame of the mother who bore you? As long as the son of Jesse lives on this earth, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. Now send someone to bring him to me, for he must die." Verse 32. Why should he be put to death? What has he done? Jonathan asked his father. But the Saul hurled his spear at him to kill him. Then Jonathan knew that his father intended to kill David. Jonathan is taking a very big risk, because they are already in agreement that the father doesn't like David. But he is arguing with the father, trying to convert the father so that he stopped hating. And that meant he almost died. His own father almost killed him. If your friend will take risks for you, that's why you need friends. By the way, friendship is expensive. It costs time. It also costs taking risks for your friends. And your friend will also take risks for you. Verse 34, Jonathan got up from the table in fierce anger. On that second day of the feast, he did not eat, because he was grieved at his father's shameful treatment of David. Are you getting it? If you truly are friends with somebody, his pain becomes your pain. His risk becomes your risk. And it's important to have friends like that, who actually feel your pain. Verse 41, after the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other and wept together, but David wept the more. David is so impressed by the risks that his friend Jonathan has taken, and the fact that he has kept his word and come to give him, he is very impressed. And because he now knows he is risking his own death, he is very emotional. But Jonathan and him are sharing emotions. Friendship requires emotional oneness. Somebody, when you are crying, someone who can cry with you. When you are rejoicing, someone who can be your cheerleader and rejoice with you. You need people who enjoy your success and who fight in order for you not to fail. And when you fail, they actually cry with you. Finally, verse 42, Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." Then David left, and Jonathan went back to the town. If you truly are my friends, then my family are your concern. That's why when you are friends with somebody, the parents or the spouse also becomes your friend. And if you saw the family in trouble, you would fight for it. Your family should be a friend to your friend also. So, and that makes your leadership even more enjoyable. Now my time is up. Let's allow William to take over from there.